Today's video, I'm going to be telling you what you should do immediately you get that notification, that email that says, yes, congratulations, you have won your scholarship. I'm going to be talking about that today. Hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Dorothy, and thank you so much for joining us today. I'm here to share exactly what you should do right after you get that scholarship email. So let's go back a bit. So after your interview, a few days or a few weeks pass and you get informed that you have your scholarship. You've got the scholarship, but you have to do something. You have to confirm if you accept the scholarship or not. So the thing is, for Erasmus, and I think I've said this before, there is usually a rank of students who have passed and who would be considered for the scholarship. But if it is limited to, let's say, the first 10 people, those first 10 people would be informed that they have the scholarship. Those 10 people would be informed that they've gotten a scholarship. And so the scholarship committee or the selection group would be waiting for confirmation emails from each of them. Some people actually apply to more than one of the scholarships and they get both or even all of the three. And so now it is their decision to make a choice which one they want to go with. And the point is, if somebody sends an email and says, okay, thank you so much for the offer, but I do reject it, there is an empty slot, so the next person on the under the cutoff line gets the opportunity to be given the scholarship or be offered the scholarship. It's a scholarship offer, and so you have to do what you have to do, which is to confirm if you want to be part of the students who receive the scholarship. So the first thing you have to do is check the deadline for accepting the scholarship. So maybe if you applied for one or two or three of them and information from all three are not yet in, but you want to wait a bit because you've received one, but maybe that one is not your first choice, so you want to wait a bit, it's okay, but please check the deadline for accepting the scholarship. It's usually maybe a month or maybe 3 weeks, so you should check that before you make any decisions. If it is very, very close, I suggest that you accept it. If it's maybe 2 weeks or 1 week, you can wait for a few days, but please do send the email to accept your scholarship. But if you'd like to wait for the information from the other ones, hopefully and thankfully most of the scholarship selection results come around the same time. Not the same time, but around the same time. So you'll get to know the verdict for all of your scholarships around the same time, and so you can make your decision quickly. So when you now have decided which scholarship you want to go with, let's say all of the scholarships you applied for, you got them, and so now you get the luxury of choosing which one you want. Please send the email confirming your acceptance for the scholarship offer. I've said it already in this video. It is a scholarship offer, and so you can't accept or decline. So please, if you have made your decision before the deadline for accepting the scholarship passes, please send the email. If you do not send the email and you do not confirm it, it would be assumed that you do not want the scholarship and it will be taken from you. Please do send the email and let them know your decision. My next point is that you should wait for the scholarship letter, insurance letter, and other documents. So as a scholarship winner, when you are doing your application for your visa, you do not have to, well, not in all cases, but for the Erasmus, your scholarship letter is your proof of funding or your financial statements in essence, because the scholarship is going to cover your stipend, your travel cost, your insurance, your school fees, and all other participation fees, your work for your thesis and all of that. The scholarship is going to be covering everything. So You would not need to go and get that financial statement, check your bank statement. You have to have a blocked account and all of those things. So your scholarship letter is very, very important, and you only get that when you've accepted the scholarship. So you'd have to wait for your scholarship letter. Also, some programs would offer you or do an insurance for you, so you get the insurance letter and all other documents that you actually do need to do your visa application. So when you confirm by email, in some cases when they send your scholarship letter, they also add maybe a draft of a letter. So you just have to input your name and you sign that you will duly accept the scholarship. And so yes, you would have to wait for those documents to come so that you can actually do an official acceptance. But do accept via email, and then your scholarship letter and the other documents would follow. So now my next point is that you should make inquiries for the visa for the country you have to go to. So immediately you get that information that you've won the scholarship and they are waiting for your confirmation, you can start doing research on the visa application process. So if it's like, let's say if you're going to study in the US, you know that for sure you have to do an interview. But let's say in Portugal, I did not need to do an interview, I just had to submit my documents. So you have to know what the process is and the documents that you need to gather for your application. So make inquiries about the visa, and also of course the monetary expectations. So how much the visa form would cost, how much the visa itself will cost, how much if for instance in Portugal, for the Portuguese system in Ghana, we have a consulate but we do not have an embassy. The embassy is in Nigeria, so you'd have to pay whilst you're doing your application for the DHL to send your passport and your documents to Nigeria and back. So you have to make that payment. So you have to know all of those things. I suggest that you should call the embassy or call the consulate, whichever one is in your jurisdiction or in your country, your home country. Make that call and make that inquiry, because it is very, very important you hear from them. So for me, for the Portuguese one, I needed to have my transcripts, my degree, my scholarship letter, my insurance letter, I had to do a medical report, I had to do a police report, I had to, well, it was a whole list of documents. I'll leave the list somewhere here, but then those are the documents I needed to make ready for the visa application. And so I got to know about those documents because I made a call to the consulate, and the secretary explained everything to me and also let me know about the monetary requirements in terms of my situation and the application I'm working on. And so yes, that is how it goes. So when you make your inquiries for the visa application, you get to know what is the wait time, how long will your documents be away, how long is the processing time for your visa. That's essentially what I was going to say. How long is the processing time for your visa? Is it very long? Is it very short? Some places the Portuguese visa comes maybe in a month or even 2 weeks. So you have to know what applies in the country you're applying from. For me, I was told that the processing time takes 1 to 3 months. I got it in, let's say, basically a little over 1 month and a half. So it varies, but you should know that time so that you can plan ahead. You get your documents early enough so that you can make the application knowing the processing time, and then you proceed with your application. So my fifth and final point is that you should make the necessary legalization and endorsements. So for me, what I had to do was I needed to send my degree and my transcripts to Ministry of Education, where they do a validation process to check if, of course, my degree is coming from first an accredited institution in the country, and if my degree and my transcripts are actually the official one from the university. If it is legal, if it's not fake, if it is genuine documents. So the Ministry of Education would make calls. So you send your documents, you make a photocopy, then of course you leave it for some time. They make inquiries. Is this person a student? Is the year correct? They make all of those inquiries, and then they will issue a document or a letter saying that of course they've done that research and they've identified, or they are making sure they are validating, let's say they are validating the document, it's authentic, and so they'll add that letter. I needed to do that also for my birth certificate, and so I sent it to Birth and Death, and then they also did their checks. It took like 2 weeks or so. They did their checks and added their letter that it's genuine, it's an authentic document. You know, people can make fake documents like that, and so to avoid any of those things, you need to do that validation process. Then after that, you need to make some legalization of all your documents. Not all of them, let's say the ones that are coming from Ghana, so the police report, the school documents, I think mostly that, but do make sure. That's why you have to call the visa the consulate or for your visa application inquiries. So you have to do legalization. So you take it to High Court, and then they will do some legalization process, and then add like the stamp, a stamp, and then add of course a letter. You also need to endorse it from Foreign Affairs. So High Court and Foreign Affairs Ministry, they're going to do that. So I hope I've not bored you with a lot of talking, but yes, that is immediately what you have to do. These are the things you need to do, and mind you, you need to be going to the headquarters of these institutions I've mentioned more than once, more than twice, to do follow-ups and things. It's normal, so just prepare, because this, what you are doing is you have to do it well, so that when your documents get to the embassy, they don't bounce you, because all your documents need to be done in a specific way. And so if you don't want trouble, do it the right way and do it yourself. You can also look for the services of an agent. But for me, I did it partially myself, partially with the aid of an agent, and so I got it was even late. Don't even know why I did, but yes, it was even very, very late. You need to make all of these documents available for your application, and when you are ready with everything, the money and all your documents are set, then you go to the consulate. Of course, make an appointment. You go to the consulate, and then you do your application, and then you wait for your passport and then your documents and your visa to come back to the consulate, and then they will let you know. They'll call you and tell you that okay, your visa is available, and so come for it. So yes, that is basically what you need to do. You also have to know the starting date for your the program. You have to know the starting date of your program, and that is very important because it helps you to plan ahead. You need to know when you leave the country and when the program starts, so that you can get there early enough for all of those early bureaucratic activities, because you need to maybe register with the national agencies for international students in the country. I'm just speaking of fly here, but you need to do a certain number of bureaucratic activities, and so the earlier you get here, the earlier you can do that. And when you have all of those bureaucratic stuff done, that is when you start getting your scholarship money. So yes, the earlier you come, the earlier you can finish that, and the earlier you can start getting your dough. So that's my advice for you all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you really did understand what I was saying, and I hope this really helps you. And congratulations for winning your scholarship. But just prepare your mind for a very vigorous academic discourse, because it's quite different from the system that you are used to in Ghana or in Africa or any other place you're coming from. This is quite different, and it may even be different from the system in the country because it's an Erasmus program, and so it is very, very rigorous. So prepare your mind for that activity. Anyway, so thank you again for watching, and remember to always stay awesome, stay different, and stay offbeat. I'll see you in my next video. Ciao.